Since the first 4 episodes of Stranger Things Season 5 dropped, there has been a lot of talk and a lot of drama among just Stranger Things fans and people who like TV shows, kind of that entire fandom in general, and talking about this specific scene with Vecna. Today, we're going to be breaking everything down for you. I'm going to give my thoughts, and of course, we're going to take a look what the internet has to say about it as well. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another video. If you are new here, my name is Kyle. I am your guy with many YouTube channels. Apologies. I'm a little bit red. I just took an unreasonably hot shower, so that's a little bit of an explanation, I feel like. Anyways, let's talk about this. So this was one of the posts that went very, very, very viral talking about the situation, but it's kind of been all over the place. You keep seeing posts like this. This is just an example post. I'll read it to you right here, okay? There are several threads about this Stranger Things scenes being about special activities, I will say, to be to abide by YouTube guidelines over here. Sorry, but if that's where your mind goes, you have issues. Comments call it a weird fetish thing. Sure, those exist, but it doesn't mean everything a sicko might like is intended to be sexual. Regardless, if anyone gets off on the Vecna scene or even sees it as sexual, I kind of think it's them with the issues. Who the hell looks at that creature and thinks of sex? What do you think? Am I being naive? Serious question. I'm going to be honest with you guys. This is one of those things where, and I know I'm going to get the comments. I know every single time I ever make a video talking about where it's like, well, I can see both sides. I get the comments being like, oh my God, fence sitter. I truthfully do see both sides of this one. I doubt I'd be allowed to play the entire scene for you, but we can scroll through over here. And so obviously you have Will here, and then the Vecna's tentacle thing goes into Will's mouth, and of course Will is a child. And then afterwards, Vecna kind of does that. I understand where people are going with that, okay? I understand all of the critiques about Hollywood. Totally get that, and I totally understand that there's always a bunch of messaging hidden beneath shows. I understand where people are coming from with that. I more so kind of might be, I don't know, I see both sides to this one, man. Because when I initially looked at it, I didn't think anything of it. I thought it was creepy. Okay, Vecna's this weird fantasy creature, and it's not like, I can't really point to an example right now, but I'm sure we've seen these types of things before. You know, it's an alien creature injecting like more alien things into somebody. It's a lot easier to get a reaction out of us and feel uncomfortable, and we're supposed to be deeply, like, made to be deeply uncomfortable with scenes like this. It does the job. I go, ugh, like, but I didn't think about, you know, the problem that everybody's coming up with right now. Because if you think about it, let's say, like, what's another way he could inject his stuff in? I'm saying this stuff right now, and it sounds horrible. What's another way that he could, what is it, the Demogorgons he injects inside of him and then Will like threw it up or something like that? The details of it are a little bit fuzzy. But what do you want him to get? Like a syringe and put it into his arm? That's not really going to get like the creepy, oh my God, what's happening to Will message across. Things are meant to be disturbing, and I think it's okay if something's meant to be disturbing to have that on television. But I do understand, again, where people are coming from when you're talking about all of this different messaging from Hollywood. I watch a ton of things and I see a bunch of hidden messages in order to, you know, get something across to the public. Getting inside the mind of the NPCs, I'm very, very aware of those types of situations. But on the, I don't know. I'd love to know what you guys think about this one, because I think it's a little bit of a tough situation. The only thing that's really weird here is obviously, like, this is majorly creepy. It's like your typical alien stuff, right? It's creepy. We're kind of hardwired to, like, react that way to something going inside someone's mouth, possibly restricting their breathing, something infecting their brain. It gets a message across. Kind of like I said, if you were to, like, just take out a syringe, is that something that would exactly get the message across? No. It was disturbing. It was meant to be disturbing, and that's kind of how I view it. Are there sickos out in the world that are going to get off to this type of thing? Obviously there are. Should we check their hard drives? 1000% if anybody's talking about it. But that doesn't mean we, like, get rid of the entirety of anything inappropriate on TV whatsoever. And I'm sorry if you can hear my notification there, guys. Again, it's one of those things that I understand on both sides. This is the only weird part where he's like, oh, yeah, like, you know what I mean? That's the only weird part about it. But again, it's supposed to be deeply disturbing, and that's what it does. So, of course, guys, it's not just about my opinion over here. I wanted to get the opinion on the internet as well. I quote tweeted this and posted this. Going to make a video on this situation. If you have any thoughts, drop them below, and I will include some replies. Thank you for your time. If you would like to join the conversation, Follow me over on X at Clen YouTube, or you can find the links at the top of the description of the link tree or the direct links in the description down below to this video. We make videos like this all of the time. I want to get community opinions on things, so let me know what you think about this down below. Like and subscribe if you have not already. We're going to be taking a look at replies from myself as well as the Explore page. Let's see what some people had to say over here. Cheeto had this to say: if you have a problem with that scene, you guys are just sick individuals and you need to seek help ASAP, because no proper-minded human beings would look at that and say, oh yeah, this is totally a sexual reference. You people are just disturbing as hell and need to go outside. I'm not gonna lie. I think it's weird if people like initially have that on the mind and then go like, ooh, that's kind of cool, you know? That's definitely check their hard drive, they probably need to be arrested type thing. But with all of the, you know, messaging coming out of Hollywood, those types of things, I don't blame anybody for thinking about that. For thinking it's like where somebody probably watches the stream and goes, oh my god, here we go. Here we go again. You know what I mean? I do understand if people are thinking that. It's not something that I thought about, but I wouldn't really dog on anybody personally for considering that, to be honest with you. Todd had this to say: yeah, I'm sorry, but people who think this need help. Vecna wouldn't go that deep. Be for real with yourself. Some people need to have a reality check and a mental health check. Why wouldn't he go that deep, though? That's the thing. I'm totally okay with people, like, writing deeply disturbed, messed up characters to be deeply disturbed and messed up. Like, if he goes that way, that's even more disturbing and can add to the story, in my opinion. Like, he just, like, they're drawing him up to be this, like, major villain. That's one way to hate him more than anything. I'm okay with that if it, like, follows the story and we're supposed to hate him more, you know? Again, I wouldn't blame anybody for thinking that way. The problem is, as long as you're not thinking about it in a good way, let's say. People react to things where their brain is at, even if they didn't intend it. Still, one could argue Henry's good personality attracting children and then taking them says something, at least gives off a warning, and it could mean a lot of different things. See, I think that's a fair way to look at it. I really do. And that's, I don't know if I think I was saying something similar. For some reason with this video, I was having a little bit of trouble conceptualizing my thoughts over here. Because again, I do understand both sides of this. I think it's well said to say people react to things where their brain is at, even if they didn't intend it. That's a pretty good way to put it, to be honest with you. And yeah, he is taking kids, giving them a house, cooking for them, making up to be like their best friend. He kind of is like, you know, capturing children. Ragna had this to say: this scene was definitely not based around that. This is literally just Vecna pumping the mind flyer particles into Will. I know it looks a little disturbing, but I doubt it's based on him, you know, doing that to Will. That's a bit far in my opinion. Pretty weird to think that's it. I agree with OP over here. I'm just saying I wouldn't be surprised if that was the goal. I'm not with that, but it wouldn't surprise me, and I don't blame people, man. And hello and welcome to the jump cut over here. That tweet ended up talking about things that we definitely cannot talk about on YouTube, okay? Charles had this to say: I mean, an adult is shoving things into an orifice of a kid. I know pedos see absolutely nothing wrong with it, but there's something very, very wrong with it. Like, at some point, you do have to look at it face value for what it is. If it's part of the writing, if it's part of making Vecna this horrible person, that's fine. I'll just hate him even more with that. Again, the intentions are, I guess, what matters here. I haven't seen the show, but based on this clip, there is clearly a metaphor here. He has an appendage, he shoves it into an orifice and ejects something out of it. If you can't see it, then you have problems. See, I feel like I'm alone here when I'm thinking about, like, I understand where people are coming from when they take issue with this. You know what? At the end of the day, I'm enjoying the story. I'm enjoying the story of Stranger Things. If you want to hear my reaction and breakdown review of the 5th season of Stranger Things so far, then you can check out this video on screen or right here. I'd love to have you over there. Thank you very, very much for being here and watching, everybody. Take care, guys.